bleeding down. Crooked bucket. When I pull back the boom up, it drops, then comes up. There's a hydraulic leak somewhere on this hose. It's not coming from the fitting, I done checked. It's coming from the hose itself. I do have a leak on this washer, on the seal washer. Boom pad eyes don't look bent, the main boom. This is where the bend is, right here. It twisted out that way, and it twisted this direction. It's really hard to get it on camera. Let's see if I can turn it around. Suppose if I get a straight edge, you really better see. The bend starts right here and goes that direction. You see where the paint flaked off? That's an indication of bend and stress. If I get the camera to focus, right here there's a curve. It goes that direction. It's really hard to see the bend. There's no support right here for these pad eyes. You're looking at least 10 inches from here to the boom. You think it would have support, some kind of support. So I'm gonna have to cut all this off. Well, I'm gonna cut the tube out for sure. I'm gonna plate it with a piece 3/8 doubler plate going all the way up the boom to about right here. And I'm gonna cap in the back. If I close in the back, it won't interfere with nothing, with none of the operation. The only thing it may interfere with is me greasing, so I have to make a hole for greasing. You can see a crack in the weld, in the paint right here on the weld. It's an indication of movement. Other side looks fine. Paint's cracked on that weld as well. Let me get down here. You can see the curve. The whole thing is tilted over, twisted. This was on his first job, pulling a root up about 3 inches diameter. Of course, I had to make this piece. Protected the grease fitting with a pipe. There's so much slop in every pinhole, every tolerance. So sloppy. I had a bad leak right here on the seal. the seal that came with it. I went to 3 hydraulic shops and none of them have ever seen the seal. It's basically a metal washer encased in rubber. It's in the shape of what's called a quad ring. A regular quad ring wouldn't work, so I have a regular it's called like a backdoor ring in there, and that didn't stop the leak, so I had to wind up pulling the fitting out. I think it's a BBSP threads, which is similar to MPT but does not have the taper. So I wound up backing it out. I put liquid Teflon and the back O-ring, and so far that has not been leaking. But my main issues with this machine, the sloppiness, everything's misaligned, and I don't know why that boom's wearing crooked. It's like the boom is twisting as it's going up and down, and it straightens out, goes down, twists, and it's eating up metal on metal. There's not enough room really to put shims in there. And the slack in the trunnion, or whatever you call the swing block, I'm guessing it's probably just a sloppy fit in the pin. This machine total has about 3 hours on it, 1 year old. The previous owner ran it for an estimated 2 hours, blew the pump, which was a different issue. The alignment of the pump wasn't centered on the plate. It was 3/16 too far over this way and 1/8 too far down, which caused put a bind in the pump shaft and snapped the pump. So the machine sat for a year because of a pump and a faulty mount. But is this a good machine? It's definitely got a lot of power. And it's got a lot of slop and everything, but every one of these little trenchers has some form of slop. This is, I think, this is a built-in weak point, poor design. There's no support. So if you do any kind of side loading with this machine, you're gonna bend this again. A new dig section. This section is only about $300 if you can find it. So that's not a bad price, but if I bought a new one, I would definitely have to do the same thing and add a doubler from the start because it's gonna bend again. My first job pulling up a root, I guess the root it pulled up just on one side of the bucket, and as I was curling and raising up, my outrigger slid over to the side, and it kind of gave me a side load, and it twisted a little bit. I tried to swing with it as well. That didn't help. So it's a combination of things that bent it, but it bent fairly easy on its first real job. I mean, it's a lot of money invested to have breakdowns on the first job. But it's a nice, powerful machine. It's just, I don't know if it's $5,000 worth with problems. It needs modifications from the start. As you can see, the build date on mine, 2021, 11/15/2021. It was when it was built. It was bought sometime early 22, which is probably just made a year. I'll update once I fix the stick and do some modifications. I got to change the pin out. This is a temporary pin, and I need to figure out a solution for this boom. Try to get rid of some of that slack in the swing, the pivot. Thank you for watching.